again, we talked about the fact that there's two names that are to keep them popping up and popping up and popping up here, and that is Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders. We got a little Shedeur Sanders news here. Pat Shermer making the show here. Listen, you guys probably remember Pat Shermer, former head coach of the New York
Talk about
Giants.
that bloke once in a while.
He was the head coach before Joe Judge, so we're talking like it's been a few years now, but obviously was the coach during the rookie season of Daniel Jones and probably got the best Daniel Jones we ever got basically that year. Here's what he said today about Shedeur Sanders. He says, I've told all the pro scouts, if you need a quarterback, take Shedeur. And if you don't take him, you're taking the second best guy. And he said that on Thursday, just yesterday there during a press conference in advance of Colorado's appearance in the Alamo Bowl. He said most players that make it to the NFL obviously have great skill and ability, which Shedeur has, have performed at a high level, which he has a true love for the game, which he has, and then is going to be an outstanding teammate. Really, those are the four factors that make a great pro. You got to have talent. You got to perform. You got to love the game. That's where a lot of the guys fall short. They don't love the game. It's the greatest team sport in the world. So if you don't have an appreciation for being a good teammate, he said, and I mean, like, it's not wrong there, guys. Let's be very
He's not
frank.
wrong at all.
He says, I don't think at Colorado we realize how good Shedeur is, and we won't until he's gone.
It's very.
Listen, guys, you can hate Pat Shermer for his time in the Giants. Let's be honest, he was over his head. He was not a good head coach. The man knows quarterbacks.
That he does, and he's not wrong for saying that. He's not wrong at all. Like, he's actually right on the money, because I mean, we talked about last year playing the Commanders, right?
Yeah,
Chad Henne, great teammate, made the players play better around him.
Yep,
didn't have the talent. He's a backup now, but there's guys out there that are great leaders who will make a team better. So if you have the talent, you got the leadership, the love for the game, like, you're just going to be out there balling.
I think the love is a big part to me. Like people, it's hard to judge sometimes in college who really loves the game, because you can get by with pure talent in college. You can. I know people will dispute that with me, but I'm telling you point blank, you can. You see guys like, let's say, for example,
depends on the division, but yes,
let's say right. Johnny Manziel, classic example. Johnny Manziel, don't get me wrong, he enjoyed playing the game, but he didn't love the game. There's a difference. What I mean by that is it didn't piss him off so much to lose that he spent 5 hours in the film room watching everything and trying to go over everything. He didn't do film room. That's what he was. He lived off natural talent, and it got to a point where that couldn't any longer suffice for him to be a success. He even said it himself. He said, I never watched film. He said.
Yeah, I mean, he's still obviously like playing football when what's he in CFL, whatever it's called now.
I don't know where he's at. Last time he was in some kind of fan league at that point that he was.
Oh, I thought he was playing in one of those Canadian leagues.
No, one of those. How many leagues do you think they have in Canada?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, let's see. He is, last I heard, so 21 and 22 is in the professional indoor football team, the FCF Zappers. The Zappers. I'm looking it up here, which is just absolutely insane. By the way, Dalvin Cook is a part owner of that team. That's how bad it is. The mighty have fallen. But that's what I'm saying. Like, he didn't love the game enough to put the work in.
Exactly. Well, his problem was he's also a party animal.
Well, that's a whole separate thing. Listen, I get it. I was a party animal as well, but stuff happened. I could tell stories about Rob, what he did when he was drunk. Crazy. Yeah, I remember those days. Maybe a few decades ago now, Rob, but I remember those days. You and your craziness.
Oh, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. But listen,
church every Sunday.
The fact that you have a guy who, listen, Pat Shermer, again, you can hate or love him for the time he had with the Giants. He wasn't a great head coach. The guy probably got the best at Daniel Jones we ever had, minus he hadn't learned the turnover part yet. But as far as a passer, he was throwing the ball deep. He was making plays. stuff that we haven't seen in many years at that point there. He was a guy who's also, was the quarterback coach for Andy Reid with the Eagles, and eventually was the interim head coach because that organization thought so well of him there. Deion Sanders sought him out when he was done with the Broncos to go work for him in Colorado. So the guy knows football. I'm not saying he's the greatest of all time, but I'm trying to pad that and make it seem like crazy at that point. But the guy knows football. And this is what he's telling you. Now, is it biased? Sure. It's 100% biased. The guy coaches this guy. He's trying to market him because it helps his program look better as well. So you got to take it. But you also got to say, he may say he's NFL ready. He's going to be a great quarterback for whoever he gets. Like, there's generic ways of saying what he was saying without making it so superlative as point blank, this is the best guy in the draft. If you take somebody else, you're going to regret it. He has a love for the game. He has all the talent. This is the guy you should take. There's a difference in that, and Shedeur Sanders is ready. He's going to be a great NFL quarterback.
Yeah, there's a big difference. Like, he should be number one. He plays like a number one. He's definitely done the time, and that actually really helped him.
You can always read between the lines and statements and find out the truth. I'm telling you guys. And this is a statement that says a lot to me, that he honestly believes, Pat Shermer honestly believes, that this kid is going to make a huge difference in the NFL. And I don't know if he is or isn't. And listen, anybody who tells you otherwise, they're crazy. We never know. Looking at prospects is a total crapshoot.
Yep.
He does a lot of things very well. And I think he works very well in the type of offense that we're actually set for. The things like the throwing and doing catches on the run at that point, leading the receiver, setting them up in a good position to get yak yards, the things that we quite frankly haven't seen all year long for a couple of years now at this point. He's very good at. My only concern, like I said, for the get-go is his mentality. Is he going to be able to handle the New York media? Is he going to handle the focus that comes to being the starting quarterback for the New York Football Giants? There's a lot of focus that comes to that. And I'm not so sure on that part there. I don't know him personally, so I will never get a chance to. I'm going to trust the Giants if they draft him, that they did the work right and they made the right decision. But if you're going off pure talent, guys, I've said it before that Cam Ward is the guy I prefer because I trust him personality-wise better. But if we're going off pure talent, he may not be the risky guy. He may not be the deep throw guy. But Shedeur Sanders is the most NFL-ready quarterback in this draft. Point blank. And like I said, I like seeing something like this from Pat Shermer because let's be honest, guys, if we had the first overall pick, we're probably taking him. He's probably a Giant.
Probably. Absolutely. Because look at last year, right? He was NFL, quote unquote, ready then.
Yep. A lot of people talk about that.
Held out because he wants to stay back and get more ready for the NFL. He wants to prove himself, right? He did that this year, big time.
Yeah.
Which is why he's the number one prospect. And not just like talking about like playing the game, loving the game. He's had one of the best mentors to get ready for the NFL that anyone could ever have.
Yeah.
Because when you talk about like who's NFL ready, it's usually like some of those guys that have like, the fathers that may have been in NFL, like, and you talk about a guy that's been in the spotlight in the NFL. Who better than Dion? Like
you say, he knows football. These people that know football, they're telling you point blank. And again, they're biased. I'm not saying they're not, but they're putting their name and reputation out there for this kid, and that's a good sign.
Yeah.
That's a really
now listen, if you got Dion telling you his son's going to be the best out there, no shit. Like that, you're a terrible father.
Dion's probably saying that about every single one of his kids. He's probably saying
that's what I'm saying. He'd be a terrible father if he's not saying that.
Overall, and
yeah, be a terrible father if you're not. But
it's not even that. Listen, you could be a father and be honest and say, "Listen, I think he's going to be a good old NFL player, probably a mid-round pick." Nothing wrong with saying that. That's not disrespectful if it's the truth. But like I said, it's going to be different. I think for based on what you're seeing here with Sanders. And part
That's
of it is
if you're a
there's
that's
no
if you're a
Caleb Williams.
modest father. Yeah. That's if you're a modest father, but if
He's
you're
not.
Neon Dion,
He's not.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
No
Very
modesty in that
prideful.
bone whatsoever.
No.
No nasty bone in that body whatsoever, guys.
If you like that clip, then you will love the full episodes too. Find us on your favorite podcast app and look for us on all your favorite social media platforms.
Thanks so much.
Please, I'm begging you. Please subscribe.